It is generally accepted everyone, regardless of their social status, has been given the rights to universal suffrage and universal enfranchisement. But countries such as the United States of America, United Kingdom, Bulgaria, and Hungary prohibits inmates from voting in national election, and this is injustice. The motion that we're debating about today will take place in democratic countries which upholds the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. What a prison actually is that it's not a place of revenge done on misconduct. It is a false advertisement. Prison instead is a place of reforming an inmate to repent for his or her misconduct in society. In prison, inmates are not just sitting around waiting for their time to be freed. Inmates are given a time to reflect upon their misconduct, and they are given a time to realize what they have done wrong. Prison is not just a group of cells within a building, but prison has many other facilities to offer to these inmates. Facilities such as libraries, televisions, gyms, carpentry shops, and other productive work facilities. These are the resources for the inmates to learn and improve their well-being. The true purpose of imprisonment is actually to keep inmates away from interacting with society in the open world, because they pose a threat towards the people. And it stops there. It is not a place where your rights are taken away. Inmates have their rights limited, but not taken away. Every human being is granted the three basic rights. First is life, second liberty, and third is property. When a person becomes an inmate, only the rights of liberty is circumscribed. All the rest will still be theirs. In prison, inmates are reformed. They are to be reborn as a new person in the society. They are subject to improve their well-being and make changes in their lives, so that the time when they come out of prison, they learn the lesson and make amends for it. Learning in prison means that the government has to give the basic rights like any other citizen living in the outside world, aside from being able to interact with citizens in the open world. The government, in fact, still gives a chance for inmates to interact with people. Only this time it is through a telephone booth or outsider visitors. That is why we would like to give them also the chance to vote in presidential or national elections, because it's undeniably their right as a citizen and it's part of the social contract. As a government side of the House, I have 3 points of contention. The first point of contention is that prisoners are a part of the social contract. The second is that prisoners are eligible to vote. And the third is that inmates' voice is harmless towards the influence of the government. Moving on to my first point of contention, prisoners are a part of the social contract. Well, first things first. Clarifying what democracy means is that it comes from the Greek word demos, that means people, and kratos, that means power. And when it's combined together, it is the people's power. Well, how does this apply to prisoners? In Jean-Jacques Rousseau's philosophical standpoint on the social contract, he has a vista of equality among every single person, regardless of their status. Inevitably, thugs, criminals, and felons are a fragment of our society, and they deserve the same basic human rights that we all have. Therefore, they shall be granted the rights to vote in national elections. Giving these inmates the rights to vote might change their lives for the better, and not necessarily affect the lives of the innocent. Inmates are put in prison for a reason, and that reason is for them to not re-offend the society later on. Eliminating their voice will make inmates feel that they are wrong by the government, that they are discriminated, and it will result in a more likely nature for them to re-offend in society later on. Not giving inmates the right to vote is basically saying that inmates are a third of what a person actually is. That violates the fundamental human rights by discriminating them. Sure, they have done something wrong and then that they shall serve sentence for it, but they are serving sentence within the prison for their mistakes. And voting is not a significant effect to our society, but it might be a significant point for them. Prisoners are they who have misbehaved, offended, and threatened the society. They are already given the appropriate sentences, which is isolation from the society. It stops there. No more, no less. Giving these inmates the rights to vote is a symbol that can be interpreted as a sign of welcoming them back to the society with open arms. They will cherish and appreciate the rights given to them, despite all their shortcomings, that the government still gives them the fundamental right of expressing their voices. Second, prisoners are eligible to vote. In order to be eligible to vote, one must be a citizen of a particular country. Second, one must be considered an adult. Third, one must be rational and not mentally sick. Fourth, one must be able to obtain information regarding the candidates, along with the candidates' plans of the future. With all the facilities granted by the government within the prison, prisoners still retain their citizenship. It is not taken away from them. Denying their right to vote means that the government is denying them as a citizen. Prisoners have health care for both physical and mental illness. Therefore, their health is not a factor or a problem. Lastly, televisions are a standard facility given to prisoners. It enables them to obtain information required in choosing an adequate candidate. For all these justifications, the government shall not deny the prisoners' right to vote, as they are eligible to do so. Moving to my last point of contention, that the inmate's voice is harmless towards the influence of the government. Some people might worry that the inmate's voice might somehow affect the government in a bad way and influence them in a bad way. But let's take statistics and numbers into account. The USA, the country with the most inmates held behind bars, denied the rights to 5.5 million inmates to vote in the 2012 presidential election. 5.5 million is a very significant amount, unless we compare it to the number of the total population of the United States of America, which happens to be 316.1 million. 5.5 million is only 1.7% of the total population of the United States, and it is not a significant amount. Taking the United Kingdom into account, the total population is 64.1 million, in contrast with only 97,000 inmates that are held behind bars. 97,000 inmates represent only a mere 0.15% of the total population of the kingdom. Again, statistics prove that it is harmless to give the prisoners the right to vote. In 2006, Ireland decided to count the votes of prisoners, and the study shows that they are overwhelmed by the fact that these inmates voted as likely as they would if they are not behind bars. So being behind bars does not affect their political decisions at all. The advocates of the opposition might worry that these inmates might influence the way government view prisoners and prisons, but they won't, as they are not a significant amount of change. Retracting back to the point of reformation, giving prisoners the right to vote is actually one of the puzzles to complete the long-term program of reformation. This puzzle piece provides a soothing feel that these prisoners can still contribute to the society, and it gives them and sends them a message that even being an inmate, not all is lost. Voltaire once said that I do not agree with what you have to say, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it, and therefore we should defend the rights of the inmate to vote in national elections.